everybody. Today I have Vishal Negi with me. He's a senior trek leader at Indiahikes. He's going to be talking about the Brahmatal Trek today. Hi Vishal.
Hi Swati.
You have just returned from Brahmatal. You were there for a month in peak winter. So what's the trek like? Not many people know about this trek.
Swati, underrated is the word I want to use for the trek. I've personally done Devaratal Chandrashila before. I've done Kedarkantha, one of our best winter treks we have to offer. So when I heard that I'm going to Brahmatal, I would honestly say I was a little less than excited. But when I went there and I did the trek, I was absolutely blown away. My God, it's a beautiful, beautiful trek.
What makes it that beautiful?
There's a bunch of things that's going right for Brahmatal. As of now, what I feel, Brahmatal is a very undiscovered trek. So while we are on the trail, we see very few people on the trail along with us. So that kinds of adds to its charm. At the same time, it has some other things, like it has the jungle trails. I personally am a big fan of jungle trail. That's my favorite feature on any personal trek. So Brahmatal has beautiful rhododendron forests there. You're under heavy canopy of rhododendron trees, some silver oak, but mostly rhododendron trees. So even though during winters you don't see the rhododendron bloom, but you can only imagine how it's going to be somewhere in March. It's absolutely beautiful rhododendron trees there.
And what about the views on the trail and after when you reach a summit?
Very surprisingly, when you do this trek, you don't get to see the view that you will be seeing from the summit for the longest time. It's always a suspense. That's because you have this sort of mound that you're climbing. So the views are just behind that mound. So, it's always a surprise as to what you'll be seeing once you land up on the top. And once you land up on the top, my God, you have some of the most magnificent Himalayan mountains right in front of you. Bang in front of you, you have lip-smackingly good views of Trishul, it's right there. And then it's surrounded by Nanda Ghunti, it's surrounded by Betar Toli, Mektoli and all of that. Very interestingly, the Rupkund trek is right next to it. So while you're doing the trek and you're at the summit, you also get to see Ali Bugyal, Bedi Bugyal, the ever so famous meadows, yes. So you get a very good view of the meadows as well. And you get to see the general area where Rupkund is, even though you don't see the lake. So, it sort of connects you to the Rupkund trek as well at the same time. So the views, the jungle trails are absolutely to die for. At the same time, I don't think you find high altitude lakes in such abundance on any treks. You have two high altitude lakes on this particular trek, Bekaltal and Brahmatal. And interestingly, both of them are frozen in winters. So you can only marvel at how beautiful that is, a frozen lake, and try to just take a walk around it, if not in the middle of it. And you can also try and imagine how it will be when they're not frozen. So all of these factors really do it for me in the Brahmatal trek.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot of rewards for a small 4-day trek, right? Also one more thing I wanted to ask you, if you had to draw a comparison between Brahmatal and our two other winter treks, that is Kedarkantha and Devaratal, where would you put this?
In terms of things you see, like I said, jungle trails. So Devaratal again has a lot of jungle trail to offer. Once you set out from Devaratal and you walk towards Rohini Bugyal and up towards Brujkali, you have a lot of rhododendron trees there. But I found the forest cover here was much denser. At the same time, the forest area, when it's meandering through the forest, I think the trails are much more beautiful. That's a personal view on Brahmatal jungle trail. February is the month that we run Brahmatal Trek amongst other months. We do it in January, February and March. But Kedarkantha and Devaratal exclusively happen only in December. And we close it towards the beginning of January. So this is the only trek that you can actually choose if you want a winter trek. If you're a fan of snow, this is the trek I would say. You get knee-deep snow and it's absolutely wonderful. So in terms of difficulty, if you ask me, Kedarkantha I would grade as a little easier than Brahmatal. Brahmatal, even though it's not a very difficult trek, but then you have to battle with really frigid temperatures at all time. It gets really, really cold, so that is something you have to look out for. In terms of physical endurance, not so much, but you really have to take care of yourself in the cold.
Thank you so much, Vishal.
Thank you, Swati.
Guys, if you have any questions about Brahmatal, you can drop in a comment and we'll help you out. But like Vishal said, if you don't want a crowded slope, if you want to see snow and if you want to see rhododendrons, then Brahmatal is the trek to do. Thank you for joining us.